Yo, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. Y'all, okay, this is my third time wearing this hat. It's like a little hat with ears. I got it from Boohoo Man. I wore it to the airport one day. And I got so many compliments, and then I just wore it to like this house party, my friend's house party. And again, got so many compliments. I'm like, ooh, I need to start like wearing more funky stuff like this. Y'all get what I'm saying? But listen, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Armand Wiggins, and I had no idea that Oliver TWixs and T.S. Madison was going back and forth on Instagram over the cozy thing. So apparently, the way I understand it, Oliver edited the video in which Maddie was like, I'm black, I'm brown skin, dark skin, light skin, all of that stuff. Y'all know, cozy. Okay, so apparently he edited the video, and then Beyonce took that audio, sampled it, and then put it in cozy, right? And so today Oliver went onto Twitter, and I think it was like a trend that was going around talking about what is something that's secret that you contributed to society. And Oliver was like, I created the sequence that y'all hear in cozy. And then people up under his comments were like, well, did you get paid? Did you get royalties? Did you get a Grammy? Oliver's like, no. And then Oliver made it, he let it be known that Beyonce didn't owe him anything, because there's also this conversation with the girl. I don't know her name, but the girl with the red hair, the bangs, and they chewing her up in the comments. Basically saying, she was saying that Beyonce is stealing from writers because she's getting 25% of royalties, 25% of publishing from music that, she did not write. And they chewing her up in the comments. But anyways, I'm saying that to say that it's just coincidental that came out. And then now Oliver is coming out saying that he helped create the sequence for cozy. And, he's responding to comments saying, no, I didn't get no Grammy. I didn't get no royalties. But let it be known that Beyonce doesn't owe him anything. And then T.S. Madison, who he works for or worked for at the time, or worked with, I would say, basically was like, and T.S. Madison don't owe you anything either. And I oop. So yeah, so T.S. Madison is in the comments talking about, well, T.S. Madison doesn't owe you anything either. So Oliver was thrown for a loop, and he's like, well, I didn't say you did. And then T.S. Madison is like, well, you're responding to comments that are alluding to the fact that I owe you something. When you were paid for your services, you were paid to film the video, you were paid to edit the video. So yeah, Beyonce don't owe you shit, and I don't owe you shit, is what T.S. Madison is saying. So I guess there was a back and forth. Maybe they didn't talk about it at this point in time. I did see that tweet, and I was confused about what Oliver was talking about. But now that I'm watching Armand Wiggins, it's making sense, because Oliver does like a lot of the behind the scenes, and he does a lot of the, editing and graphics and all of those things. So he probably edited that, to make it sound a certain way, which compelled Beyonce to use it. And we know that T.S. Madison got the, fee for it being on the album, and also get the royalties from the publishing, some of the publishing, I'm assuming. So, it's quite interesting. Okay, the girls are fighting. Okay, speaking of fighting, let's go ahead and talk about Housewives. So, listen, it's Housewives adjacent. So a few months back, maybe like a month or two back, I did an interview with Jaylen Banks, who is the ex-fiance of Fallon Guobadia, who is the ex-wife to Simon Guobadia. And we're going to talk about Simon Guobadia in a second, okay? So Jaylen Banks came onto the platform, and that was actually one of my favorite interviews ever. And I'm surprised that y'all did not watch. I'm so disappointed in the house guests. All the house guests that claimed to support me, you failed me on that one. You flopped. We flopped. Okay, you failed me on that one. It was actually a really, really good conversation. But he ended up saying in the interview that his father was not an alcoholic, but he used to go out, get drunk, and then when he would come back home, he would beat his mother. And it wasn't the first time he, mentioned that. And then we also talked about the fact that, Fallon was kind of accusing him of the same things, right? So, and I saw some things. Well, I'll just say this. I saw evidence that proves the opposite. Okay. Fallon is, or was, I'll say, was allegedly violent. Yeah. She was throwing hands. Not on just one man, but multiple. Okay. And I'm going to just leave it at that. But listen, so yeah, Jaylen in that interview was, saying that the father would go out and drink and then he would beat his mom. And I guess that has contributed to their non-relationship in today's time. So I get an email early this morning, 10:39 this morning, from a man named Rufus Duckworth. And I'm assuming this is Jaylen's father. Okay. He says, he wrote to me, I need to talk to you. I don't like what Jaylen, I need to talk to you. Not no hi, hello, how are you? My name is. Okay. I need to talk to you. I don't like what Jaylen said, talking about I used to beat his mother because I was drunk. That's BS. I never was a drinker. Still to this day, I don't drink alcohol, nor beer, nor wine. None of that. So I could have never been an alcoholic. You want the truth? Contact me. I think he's saying, I don't like the lies. I think that's what he's saying. I don't like the lies. And I was there for that boy ever since I found out he was mine. So I don't know, child. I don't know. But instead of, listen, I don't think y'all care too much, really, honestly. So I'm not going to harp on it. Nor do I feel like I'm going to have Jaylen's father, come on, because y'all don't care. I don't think y'all care. But I just wanted to, my journalistic, my ethical journalistic standards compelled me to let y'all know what that gentleman said. And I feel like, he might need to contact him. He might need to contact his son and figure out why his son feels this way and why his son is publicizing that information if it's not true. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it. All right, moving right along. We done talked about T.S. Madison. We done talked about Rufus Duckworth. Shout out to Jaylen Banks. I really do like Jaylen Banks. Okay, moving right along. Let's go ahead and talk about Simon. So Simon, a lot of people are saying that Simon is trying to get a green card, is trying to extend his visa. That's the reason why he's with Portia. That's the reason why he married Portia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I find it extremely interesting that you guys are saying this about Simon now, even though we forget that he was married to a Black American princess before Portia as well. Did y'all not forget the wife before, Fallon Guobadia, now Fallon Pina? Except for the fact that her name is not really Fallon Pina. It's like Fallon something, a name we don't even know. That's besides the point, okay? The point is that I don't think Simon is using Portia, for citizenship, because that's what Fallon was for. I mean, if he was using women to get you get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's not why the passport office. That's not why immigration is denying his stuff. They don't give a fuck if he's, with Portia or not. They're denying his application for permanent status because he has a criminal history. He has a history of fraud. He has a history of lying to the U.S. government. He has a history of the credit card frauds and the bank frauds. And he used a whole different fake identity to be a part of the agriculture, program. So I don't think that's why he married Portia. Maybe that's a factor, but I just don't think so. But listen, they're online and they're calling Simon Guobadia a scammer, an African scammer. And how is it, riddle me this, how is it that African people are okay with that? Why is that? It's like people will go on Instagram and be like, oh yeah, he's African, so it's no surprise there. And then where are the Africans to are y'all not offended by that? Like, when people insinuate that Africans are scammers, why aren't y'all, I never hear any outrage about that. I just find that to be so offensive. Anyways, if I was African, I'd be like, bitch, what? Anyways, So, yeah, they're saying that he's an African scammer, so it's no surprise, and he's a fraudster, and he's this, and he's that, and he's probably with Portia for this, that, and the third, and we knew it wasn't gonna last, and we knew this, and we knew that, just going off, being real hysterical about the situation. And then I had people in my comments saying, "Oh my God, Aaron, I'm so sorry. You're queen. You're queen. But we told you that this was going to happen. We told you this. We told you that." Whenever some news comes out about Portia, do y'all think I'm just in bed under my covers crying? As if I know Portia Williams in real life? I met that lady once and she pretended not to know me. I don't care. I don't have a personal gripe. Unless Portia personally slights me, I don't give a fuck. Okay? Now, I came onto my platform and I thought it was interesting. I'm like, okay, what a great way to start off season Sweet 16. You know, we're over Kenya Moore and her 5-year divorce. We're over, who else is on there? Candy and Todd having fake issues. We're over the okie doke. We want to make Housewives of Atlanta great again. So I'm like, okay, this is really interesting, and I want to see how this story goes, and I want to see how this is going to affect Portia. Is there a possibility that he might be deported? There was a lawyer onto Instagram yesterday talking about there is a possibility that he could be deported, but they would have to, go through his whole list of, his whole history and really examine it because I don't know, whatever government agency, immigration, they make a lot of mistakes and do a lot of things wrong, blah, 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 blah. But I came on here and basically said that I think it's an interesting storyline and I'm ready to watch. Personally, do I feel bad, sad, or scared for Portia? No. Okay, what y'all need to understand is I get the news or I get the tea or I have a source and I just come on here and talk about it. Okay. What happens in Portia's personal life does not affect me. Just like what happens in Portia's life should not affect you. But, okay, Simon wants y'all to know that he's doing okay. So all of the hysteria and all of the "we told you so" and Portia should have never married him. And I hope she has a prenup. Oh my God, Portia, no. Y'all are so worried for this couple. Meanwhile, this couple ain't worried for themselves. Meanwhile, this couple is not worried for themselves. Simon is on Instagram smoking a cigar. We know his lungs is already black and hardened. But he don't give a fuck. He gonna smoke them lungs away until it ain't no more life to live, child. And the caption says, I'm not going to even attempt to read that because it's in a different language, but he basically says, "Happy Sunday." And he got his veneers, them teeth, TEEF, the ones that Portia advised him to get. Ever since he got them teeth, Simon been looking fine. I'm not going to lie. Like, them teeth really took him from like a 3 to like a 7. Okay. Listen, Simon is okay, you guys. Simon is not tripping. Simon is here. He has businesses or a business in America. He owns property in America. And if anything, if Rihanna and 21 Savage, if they can be here on work visas, I'm assuming they're here on work visas. I don't fucking know. Again, I don't know anything about immigration law, but if these other people can be here on work visas and essentially live here, then he's rich enough to have multiple properties in multiple countries. So I don't really see, like, is it a big deal? I mean, I guess. I would say it's a big deal if he is facing deportation. But we don't even know if that's the case. So somebody asked me if I was okay yesterday, and I just wanted to refer them to that picture. Like, why you asking if I'm okay? It seems like Simon is okay. If Simon is okay, then I think I'm okay. Okay? Okay. And then some of y'all said that I need to apologize to some other random blogger. somebody, I was like, what are y'all talking about? Like all of this gibberish. I'm like, where is this negativity coming from? Let me delete, 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 delete. I deleted all that shit. I don't know who you guys are talking about. What other blogger, YouTubers? I don't watch YouTube. So whenever y'all mention another YouTuber, delete. Such and such told you so. You owe her an apology. Delete. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm clueless and I don't want to be confused on my own page. So you know what I do? Delete. Anyways, okay. What else? So Nene. So that's Simon. For the people saying, oh my God, Portia Simon. Simon don't give a fuck. Simon don't care. Simon is fine. Simon is in his big Mick mansion, eating his McDonald's, smoking his Mick Gars. Okay. Who I want to talk about? Okay, speaking of housewives and Portia, Portia's best friend. Who is Portia's best friend? Nene Leakes. Nene Leakes is not joining the Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 16. I don't really understand why this is news. I don't get it, but TMZ had this exclusive that said she's not coming back, right? Nene Leakes fans' hopes of her making a big return to the Housewives of Atlanta, fully fueled by Portia Williams going back, are about to be dashed because we've learned Nene is not following in her BFF's footsteps. Remember when Portia was like, I missed you. I was so lost without you. And then Kandi exposed Portia and said, well, Portia was the main one that was trying to ice you out. So, yeah. And now that they both weren't on Real Housewives, they were all over the world together, traveling with Neone and Yoni man, who she keep calling a narcissist, but stay hanging out with him. I'm so confused. Like, why does Nene calls this man a narcissist every day, but then we see y'all, like, he's a narcissist on Monday, and then on Tuesday, y'all hanging out. I'm just a little bit confused, but Nene can be confusing sometimes. On Monday, Andy's a racist. On Tuesday, you want to be back onto the show. On Thursday, Portia shouldn't be fighting on TV, but then on Friday, you hosting Baddies reunion, which is a whole nother situation. Okay. Sources connected to the show. Y'all see how far I got off. Sources connected to the show tell TMZ Nene isn't in any talks to join the upcoming season 16. And in fact, we're told producers haven't even reached out to her to have any conversations about the possibility. There will be no possibilities. Listen, my question is, we were asking, why isn't Monyetta on Bold and Bougie? Why isn't Lanithia on Bold and Bougie? Why isn't Nene? Somebody asked that. They were like, well, you know, Nene's saying she blackballed and Nene's saying this and Nene's saying that. Why isn't she on Bold and Bougie? I think that's a really great question. Somebody told me that the reason why Monyetta is not on Bold and Bougie is because I'm assuming she has a non-compete with Bravo. And I feel like, Monyetta, you signed a really bad contract, because why would you, as a friend of, if you've watched Atlanta for the past 5-6 years, the way they hire those friends on and then the next season you forget about them, Atlanta, especially with their friends, they're so fickle. The only friend that really has stood the test of time is Marlo at this particular point. They will have you on in season 5, and then in season 6, you be gone, dead and gone, like you ain't never been there. Okay? So you mean to tell me Monyetta Shaw Carter signed a contract? Hey, Monyetta, love you, sis. But Monyetta, you mean to tell me that you signed a contract to be just a friend of? And it included a non-compete? I get it if you a full-timer, but a friend of? That seems like a really strict clause for somebody that's just a friend of. Like, what kind of contract is that? So you mean to tell me you can't really be on this show, or maybe she pulled a Marlo and said, well, I'm really trying to get on with Bravo. I really want to be a full-time peach holder. And I know that if I go over here with Carlos King, and Kingdom Reign Productions and WeTV, then I know that will kill my chances of being a full-time peach holder over here at Bravo, where they're really giving out real money and real checks. Okay. Because I find it really hard to believe that they're putting in non-compete clauses for friend ofs. Isn't that crazy? I think Monyetta didn't want to do it. She said, I want that Bravo check. I'm thinking long term, okay? Remember Marlo, Candy, and Todd came up with this fashion show. It was supposed to be on, I think, WeTV as well. Funky Dineva was supposed to be on it. And then maybe like a few days before filming, Marlo pulled out. She claims that the contract wasn't right. I think in the back of her head, she was kind of feeling like, I'm still holding out hope that Bravo's going to call me back. Because in what world do a reality star, in what world would a reality star want to be on WeTV over Bravo? If Marlo would have did that show, she probably wouldn't have been asked back to Housewives. So anyways, I say that to say Nene not coming back. All right, so y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day. Bye. See you later.